Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Salmon17. Ah, Jesus Christ. So, it's been 12 years since Spider-Man 3 came out. And the question is Spider-Man 3 that bad? Now, this is a question I've been kind of did a similar thing for um, Turtles Forever, asked the same question, and for me, the simple answer is no. No, of course. Unfortunately, I don't. If you guys see, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have the original Spider-Man 3 cover for Blu-ray because I bought the trilogy, and some trilogy covers look like this. Like people barely tried it and photoshopped things. So yeah, but at least I can watch all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Now, if you guys don't know, I love Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. The first Spider-Man movie introduced me to Spider-Man. Second one is definitely and probably everyone's favorite Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 3 is basically kind of like the black sheep of of Sam Raimi family. Spider-Man 3. When I originally heard about Spider-Man 3, when I saw the trailers, how epic it looked, I was excited. But when I officially saw Spider-Man 3 on the theaters with my father, because I was a little bit too young to go on the theater myself, something I don't know. I when I was a kid, I loved the movie, but when I look at the movie now as an adult and I'm watching it again, I would be lying by saying the movie is not as bad as people make it out to be. Now, if people might be wondering if I'm saying it's the best Spider-Man movie, hell no. Is it the worst Spider-Man movie? Hell no. Spider-Man 3. How should I even put this? It's kind of hard to put it in words. It's kind of God damn it, it's really hard to talk about this. Spider-Man 3 is a movie even nowadays I kind of enjoy it. It's still better than most superhero movies I have seen nowadays. And even though it has really bad, silly, ridiculous moments. And I'm gonna talk about some of the moments I didn't like about the movie. But one thing I know is that whatever happened to Spider-Man 3, I don't blame Sam Raimi for this. Sam Raimi actually had a different vision for the movie. I mostly blame Sony for this lovely disaster. I would say, originally Sam Raimi wanted to have Harry Osborn as the main villain of the movie. Then later on, people said maybe put Sandman in as the character. Sam Raimi actually liked Sandman's character in the comics, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So he actually had plans for two different villains, and I thought, yeah, I can see how it will work out. Maybe it will have some time restraints, maybe so. Maybe it could work out, and sure enough, in some cases it worked out. But then I'm gonna get scared for this. But then Sony forced Sam Raimi to put Venom in the movie. And let's just say Sam Raimi was not exactly a fan of Venom's character in the comics, so he didn't want Venom. Basically, he didn't want to go. He didn't want actually put the symbiote arc in the movie at all. But because of the fans and whatever, and Sony being Sony, he had no choice but to force in Spider-Man's black suited Spider-Man storyline, Venom storyline in the movie, and the movie became a whole giant mess. And I feel like the movie could have been better if Venom was just basically excluded from the movie altogether. Like, the way how black suited Spider-Man was portrayed in the movie there were some moments I feel like, yeah, this is how Peter Parker would act if he wore the black suit for too long. He would be addicted to it. He will be more aggressive. He will be like really really mean to other people. But there were moments I felt like, why does this exist? Like I said, it's really hard to talk about this movie without triggering people, because a lot of people say a lot of people just like Tobey Maguire's or Sam Raimi movies are way too cheesy, and I feel like that's the point. But at the same time, the movies also take themselves seriously. It had very good cast of actors to play their certain roles. Even though Mary Jane can piss me off at times, but it's supposed to be a movie. It's supposed to be fun. Sure, Mary Jane is a damsel in distress. In today's society, people would just basically hate the Raimi trilogy, considering considering the whole SJW and feminist agenda bullshit that is happening all over the world. But for me, it's like, just have fun. Don't make like political agendas and stuff like that. Like, have fun, make a movie that you like, read a comic book that you love reading, and maybe try to create a pretty good adaptation of the movie. Because think about this: without Sam Raimi trilogy, or even the X-Men movies, there would be not any MCU movies existing. Without these properties, there will be no MCU. Now, Spider-Man 3, is it the worst Spider-Man movie? I would say it's basically mediocre or good. I would say mediocre or good, because the CGI, the costume design, the special effects are improved in the sequel compared to Spider-Man 2. Of course, Spider-Man 2 still holds up really well for me, but Spider-Man 3 has really good scenes as well, like Spider-Man saving Gwen, Black Suit Spider-Man fighting Sandman, the fight with Harry Osborn and Spider-Man against Venom and Sandman. Really good action scenes, and really hold up really well to this day. My biggest problem is not just how the symbiote arc was put in. Why Gwen Stacy is in the movie? Like, I don't get it. Why was Gwen Stacy even added in the movie? There was also Captain Stacy. There's also Eddie Brock, acted by Topher Grace. Worst casting choice of all times. And even I would admit, Venom actually looks better than in Spider-Man 3 than he does in the actual Venom movie. No, don't get me wrong, haven't seen the Venom movie, but by the looks of the trailers, the CGI looks really stupid, and Venom doesn't look like making a movie about Venom without Spider-Man. It's like making a, oh yeah, they are actually doing it. If you guys didn't know, DC, some of you do know, but DC is actually making a Joker origin story without Batman. Yes, that you heard me correctly. They're making a Joker origin story. The Joker, Batman's biggest rival of all times, biggest baddest villain of all time, is getting his own origin movie without Batman. Just like Venom had an origin movie without Spider-Man. You know how big of a can of worms that will make. At least this movie, Spider-Man 3, actually did Venom's character and his origin story the right way. Well, in some ways, because Venom actually looked really decent. The CGI on him really looked good. Of course, I wish they didn't keep the stupid Topher Grace Venom face all the time. But Venom, as in the design perspective, especially on his face, he looks really comic accurate and really looks terrifying as a villain. And that's what Venom is, a terrifying supervillain, one of the biggest rivals Spider-Man has ever faced. But there are moments in Spider-Man 3 I don't like, especially with the whole Mary Jane being jealous with Peter, getting really angry at him, and he's trying to be supportive with her. Like, God, the freaking romance. In Spider-Man 2, they concluded the romance, and at the beginning of the movie, it felt like, yeah, Mary Jane and Peter, they're a couple. They're gonna get married. Cool. But then they had this stupid trope where Mary Jane is like, it's not working out. Like, in one scene, there was a scene in the movie where Mary Jane is getting threatened by Harry as the new Goblin, basically. Not Hobgoblin, but new Goblin. God, that's a stupid name. But Harry is threatening her. Is like, hey, Mary Jane, if you don't want me to kill your boyfriend Peter Parker, then you will do exactly as they say. Break up with him. Like, they. I actually watched the Unusual Suspect reviewing the Spider-Man 3, and actually this is one of the most expensive movies ever made by Sam Raimi. To be completely honest. And he even made a really good argument about the scene. Like, did Mary Jane just forget Peter Parker is Spider-Man for a second? Like, hey, you know what? Listen closely to my ear. Harry Osborn regained his memories. He's the new he's in the goblin phase. He's threatening me and you to, if I don't do anything he says, he will kill you. Please kick his ass. Like, I hope you guys heard me, but seriously, Peter Parker, your boyfriend is Spider-Man. Just tell him, hey, there's Harry Osborn just telling me to break up with you because he's threatening my life. Please, kick his ass. You're Spider-Man. Like, are you joking? Are you kidding me, woman? Like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Oh my God, and we all know about the dance scene. Even the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse actually made a reference to it. Like, oh my God. and don't get me wrong, I love Into the Spider-Verse. Probably one of my favorite Spider-Man movies of all time. Next to Spider-Man 2, of course. But the dance scene in the jazz club, was this something we expected from a Spider-Man movie? Like, what the? This is not black suited Spider-Man. This is basically like, why emo hair? Why emo Peter Parker? Sure, the dance scene in the city was just silly. The movie is silly. Like, a lot of these Sam Raimi movies are silly, but with the dance scene, I actually watched an interview with Tobey Maguire when he was interviewed about Spider-Man 3, and someone actually asked Tobey Maguire about the dance scene when he shoot that scene in the movie, and Tobey Maguire, you can see the look on his face. He's like, he really didn't want to talk about it. He was like, why was the scene even made? This does not make sense. Like, he actually felt like, yeah, playing as a black suited Spider-Man, yeah, cool, I can do that. I can be really angry, I can be real emotional. Because there was actually a movie where Tobey Maguire actually played, where he was like a war veteran. I think the movie was called Brothers. Where he was a war veteran and he had to sacrifice everything to see his fellow soldiers die. He had to make big choices, and because of that, he was traumatized for life. He couldn't see his kids and wife for a really long time. And when he gets back, he knows that his brother has been like taking moves on his girl to take care of him. But when he returns, he's basically in this like this big emotional state. He basically gets angry, really pissed off, and that's how black suited Spider-Man will be. He will be really aggressive, really angry. There are some scenes that are really good, like Peter hitting MJ in a really aggressive manner and him realizing, yeah, I just did that. But it could have been better if the dance scene was not even in the movie. Like, the dance scene really kills off the the emo phase in general in Spider-Man 3 was like, is that really necessary? Like, that doesn't feel like black suited Spider-Man at all. I watched the Amazing Spider-Man, the animated series, Spectacular Spider-Man. They did the symbiote storyline real well. Like I said, if they didn't include Venom in the movie, they could have done something much better. Spider-Man 3 could have been a really memorable movie. Now, of course, some people still remember Spider-Man 3, but mostly people think how awful it is. And I don't think it's awful. I still kind of enjoy it despite its huge issues the movie has. I still enjoy it. Can still kick back, eat some popcorn, and drink some soda and watch it without any problems. Sandman's character was really well done. There was a really good scene where Sandman just Sandman is created, he tries to rise up. They do a really good emotional storytelling using really good music. It shows that Sam Raimi still had really decent ideas for the movie. If Venom was not included in the movie, this movie could have been better than Spider-Man 2, but yeah. Is Spider-Man 3 the worst? Is Spider-Man 3 that bad as a movie that many people make it out to be? Like, this Spider-Man 3 is actually is considered one of the worst movies ever made, basically. And people are a bit exaggerating about this. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. And trust me, there's a worse movie than Spider-Man 3. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Sorry, long cough. But yeah, there are worse Spider-Man movies. I wouldn't even highlight. I wouldn't even go as far as. No, I wouldn't go as far as say it is better than Homecoming, but the movie still had an understanding what Spider-Man as a character is about. Aunt May was a brilliant character in this movie. The lead actress who plays Aunt May in the Spider-Man movies is really great. She's very, really motivational. She's very noble. She basically like a female version of Uncle Ben. Don't get the wrong idea, you stupid feminists. But yeah, she's an old lady. She inspires Peter. She understands Peter is a good person. Not like in Homecoming, where they basically ruined the fucking character of Aunt May. Basically, good character means, oh god, she's hot. Basically, that's what anime community would say. Sorry. Someone is calling me. I will be right back. But Spider-Man 3, isn't it as bad as people make it out to be? Well, I would say no. I wouldn't say it's the best Spider-Man movie, but I wouldn't say it's the worst either. I would say, like I said, I think the movie is mediocre, good, and kind of good. I like I said, it's kind of average, but I won't say it's the worst movie I have ever seen. I have seen worse movies, believe me. But as the worst Spider-Man movie, I would give Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3, what would I give it? I would give it like maybe between 6 or 7 out of 10 score for the movie. Like I said, it's a good movie, but it's not a perfect movie, and it's definitely not the worst movie ever made. It still has pretty good moments, but also it has really stupid moments as well. So I would give Spider-Man 3 a 6 out of 10 as a final score. But like I said, it's a good movie. It's kind of average, but not the best. But it's still a pretty decent movie. Like I said, I won't say it's the worst movie ever made. So yeah, that's as far as I can go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Fuck. I apologize. Summer heat, and it's fucking obnoxious, but if I wasn't interrupted, the outro wouldn't be as bad. But what do you guys think? What do you guys feel about Spider-Man 3? Would you say it's the worst Spider-Man movie? Do you like Spider-Man 3? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments. It's weird. I'm doing a Spider-Man 3 review, but yeah, I actually really want to talk about the Sam Raimi trilogy for a long time, especially Spider-Man 3, because when I rewatched the movie, I don't think it is as bad as people make it out to be. It's not also a really long movie as well. A lot of these Spider-Man movies, Sam Raimi movies, Spider-Man movies last like only like 2 hours mostly. So yeah. Like I said, write in the comments if you like Spider-Man 3, if you don't like Spider-Man 3. write your thoughts in the comments. And if you actually liked my own thoughts for Spider-Man 3, then like this video and share it with other people, because I feel like Spider-Man 3 gets a really bad criticism, all things considered, and I don't think it's as bad as a movie as a lot of people make it out to be. So, Spider-Man 3, worst movie ever, or a pretty decent movie? That's on you guys. Like I said, I stated my own opinions. I also mentioned the moments I didn't like about the movie, so I'm not praising the movie way too much, but I won't call it the worst movie ever. I'm kind of repeating myself here, but hope you guys enjoyed the video, and this is Silent117 signing off.